Hi, my name is Campbell. I'm a freelance editor and indie author. My first collection of poetry, The Ones, is coming out September 26th of this year, so I believe we are 67 days to go until it's out. Every Tuesday I post teasers, so you can go check them out there. But today I wanted to talk about the challenges I faced publishing The Ones. So I had published like some short ebooks before, they're unpublished now, but I wanted to go into the challenges I faced specifically more with the printing side of it, as well as using printers that were not just Amazon's KDP. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down, and then we'll go into some of the details. So the biggest thing, firstly, this is the most important part, is that my buddy Dean is the one who asked for this video. So hi Dean. Okay, he is the funniest guy that I know, so I have to let everybody else know that as well. First things first, Dean was with me for the page number debacle, okay? I used Microsoft Word. That's a whole different thing we're going to get into later. For the life of me, I could not figure out how to incorporate page numbers. Turns out it's really easy once you actually know what you're doing. So what you need to do is you do page breaks, right? Because I'm in poetry, we do page breaks for every new poem or every new section of the poem. And then, one second, I have a visitor. You're a little close. If you come back, they can see you. No. Okay. You have to come back. They can't see you when you're that close. It's just, oh my gosh. You make videos like old people FaceTime. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, again, page numbers. So you want to reset a page for every new poem. However, I didn't want page numbers to start on the second page, which is all Microsoft Word really offers. And I just did not have it in my budget to download Adobe InDesign and make it that way, which is how I believe most indie authors, especially the bigger ones, are doing it. And so, ladies. No, they're not going to. I'm just going to listen to the dogs fight in the background. But what you need to do is a section break. So the biggest thing is you want to include the paragraph symbol, and I'll put one on the screen as well, and that basically allows you to set up where your section is. So you can click a section break right before when the first poem actually goes on the page, and then you can input whatever page it starts on. For me it was page 11, most people are probably about like 5 or 7, but that's how I was able to do that. You can also go a little bit more in depth and do it for like every section, so that way there's no page numbers on like a chapter or a section divider, anything like that. But I just had to find this really obscure like 2-minute video on YouTube published like 10 years ago, because nobody else was explaining it, because nobody else uses Word. But Word is very accessible. It can be a pain. I don't know how it is with images, which is actually going to be my second point. So if you have images, I don't know how well they do. I had to use an image for the title on the title pages, as well as the section headers, and for that, because the font I was using was in Canva, guys, font I'm using was in Canva and not in Microsoft Word, so I had to set it really large. Hold on, I actually wrote this down. Did I not write this down? I know I did. Yeah, it's on the back. 1080 by 1080 pixels, and then the font size of the words itself was 106 point font size. So that way I made them as big as possible. That way when I put them in the manuscript, brought them way down to size, and the print is a lot better. I don't have the KDP, but this is the ingramspark. If I can get a little close enough for you. It's really clean line, looks really good, and the KDP was a little fuzzy for the original, and so updated that, but it's just a really clear line, so you want to have that into account as well. Next up is going to be the gutter margins. So I ended up ordering 3 proof copies of my book. 2 were from KDP, which was my test run, which I'll get into as well. And then this, of course, is ingramspark. So this is the final one. This is exactly how it's going to look. There is one lovely little typo I somehow missed 4 different times, but it's caught in the final version now. And now everything is completely done for those. For the gutter, they're different. And so in Microsoft Word, it's going to look like it's going back and forth a bit. So you want to make sure that there's usually about 1 inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch, depending on what genre you're in. That is, look at other books published to see what they are. But for my odd number pages, the gutter needed to be 1.5 inches to ensure that it didn't end up in the gutter. That's where the term comes from. So that took some trial and error, but once I figured that out, again, now I essentially have a template, and so for my upcoming poetry collection, it's just basically swap out the words and the formatting's completely done. Next, I do want to talk about my uploads. So you will probably hear a lot of horror stories about ingramspark. I debated not even using them because I had heard so many bad things and negative things about them. However, let me clarify. If you input the final version of your book, or as close, like if you just have to check for some typos, that's fine. You can upload that one. There's no longer a direct upload fee, which used to be $49 for a print book, and then there was a re-upload fee for the files, which was $25. Those are both gone. For the first 60 days, the re-upload fee is gone. And quite frankly, I don't know any indie authors who would need longer than 60 days between when they upload it for the pre-order and when it goes live. Most of them don't work in that wide of a time frame. So I knew as long as mine was ready by the end of August, I was going to be set for when it came out in September. But KDP is where you want to experiment. I didn't count, I should have counted, at least 20 versions of the interior files that I had to upload to KDP as I figured out page numbers, as I figured out the gutter, as I figured out the sizes. It was originally a 12-point font. That was way too big. I went down to 11, talked about that in a video previously. I'll card it up here. But basically, I did about 20 versions on KDP. What I love about them is the changes are immediate. You upload it, give it about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how large your file is, and it will show you a preview right then and there of what you've done. It allows you to work in real time, get everything done, squared away, so that when you're ready to go to someone like Drafted Digital or ingramspark, you just upload the fixed one that KDP helped you with. Not only that, but as far as I'm aware, ingramspark, up until May, when they announced that they were getting rid of all their fees, was pretty much the last one who was still charged fees. KDP, Drafted Digital, I think even Barnes & Noble Press does not charge like upload fees like that $49 ingramspark was doing. So as far as that went, do all your testing on KDP. I ended up getting 2 proof copies off KDP, ended up being like 17 bucks. They also got here within 48 hours. I did 2 different versions uploaded to Drafted Digital. Again, typo issue, and then ingramspark was actually 3 because I thought I had uploaded the typo issue the second time. Turns out I didn't. And then keep in mind that for that, as I mentioned, KDP, from the time that you upload it and approve it, your ebook title will be live for pre-order within 48 hours. Drafted Digital varied. So Drafted Digital is an aggregator, if I'm saying the word correctly. And so within 24 hours, it was like on Barnes & Noble, it was on, I think Smashwords was another really quick one, Kobo was really fast. And then it took 3 weeks for others, and I still am not on Hoopla at all. So Overdrive also took 3 weeks, which is one of the library services. And so for all of the, I guess, consumer purchasing platforms, Drafted Digital had them all updated usually within a week. The library ones are the ones taking a little bit longer. So keep that in mind if you want to do a pre-order for an ebook. Give it at least a month to really get on all the ones that you want it to be on. That way you have enough time to get pre-orders on those things. My last challenge I faced was a combination of the cover as well as the file itself from Microsoft Word. So for any of those wondering, I did my cover on Canva. I do have a Canva Pro subscription, and I pay that yearly, so it's like, I think it comes out to be like $9.99 a month, so $120 a year. Currently with my poetry collections, I don't need a very action-y type of cover like you would for YA and middle grade, which is what I copy edit for. And so it's really simplistic, very minimal, and I'm able to do that myself in Canva, especially as I progress in my publishing career, because I do want to go back to publishing YA. But as far as the files themselves, they do need to be PDF print, and that goes for KDP as well as Drafted Digital. ingramspark was another learning curve. So this is something that if you use Adobe InDesign, you don't really need to worry about it because it's going to create a PDF file. However, if you're using Microsoft Word, just keep in mind Microsoft Word is not an acceptable file type for ingramspark. However, you don't have to download anything to make it PDF A compliance. So if I can figure out how to overlay, I will. If not, I will do very detailed instructions right now on how to do this. So get your file ready. Sorry, this is very aggressive. Get your file ready. You're going to go save as. And after that, you're going to save as a PDF and then there's going to be a little button underneath that says options. Click on that, and then it's going to come up with those, like another little box inside of it. I think mine actually pulled up full screen, and there's another option in there for options. Click on that again, and you're going to see a little list of all PDF file types. You're looking for A, compliant. It has to be that. In fact, I recommend doing that for KDP also, just a little bit more safety there. But PDF A compliant, it's going to get you a really clean print as well. From what I've seen of the difference in the printing qualities, maybe it's not. I have no idea. Maybe that's just the printer itself. But that's what you'll want to do. So you don't need to download a program. You don't need anything like that. If you're someone who has a more, I guess, interactive book, like you've got maps in there because you're fantasy, or you've got headers, you know, YA and middle grade, things like that, I would probably look more into formatting or even Adobe InDesign, because it's designed to work with images like that. If you're doing a little bit more simplistic, like just maybe like an adult fiction or poetry that you don't need a lot of fancy headers, Microsoft Word is very doable for you. There's really no learning curve except for the page numbers. Which, now that I figured that out, I think it took me 5 minutes to fix it, and then that was it. I was done. So those are the biggest challenges that I faced publishing my debut. The ones. So basically the gutter margins, and then the cover, PDFA compliance, adding page numbers, the uploading, as well as how many times, test on KDP, don't go anywhere else first. And then that's really it. Like, just be prepared to have your final files ready. If you're someone who's trying to put out a book like every 3 months, that is a whole different area, and there are multiple people on YouTube to help with that. I am someone who I'm looking to do maybe 2 titles a year, and I think that's very doable and very reasonable for an audience. So that's really it. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe, please like, please comment, you know, share it with all your reading, writing friends and all that good stuff. And I will see you next week for another update. Bye.